Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe, 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 Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Gaur Krimanande. Jai Vishupad Paramahamsa. Pri Vrajagachaja Stotra Satta Sri Srimad His Divine Grace. Chalaboy Charan Arvind Bhakti Raghava Swami. Sri Prabhupada ki.
Jai.
Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki.
Jai.
Skandibiti, Founder Chariots, Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki.
Jai.
Namaskar Srila Haridas Thakur ki.
Jai.
Samavata Bhakti Vrinda ki.
Jai.
Hari Nama Sankirtan ki.
Jai.
Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki.
Jai.
Jai Gaur Pimanande.
Hari Hari Bol.
All glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to the assembled
Hare
devotees.
Krishna.
All glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to Sri Guru and to Sri Gauranga. All glories to Sri Prabhupada ki.
Jai Shri Prabhupada ki jai.
Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Daksuranmilitam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Juta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagradatam Sahagana Ragunatam Vitam Tvam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakandritam Scha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostite Tapta Kancana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Suti Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Tarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Narayanam Namaskritya
Narayanam Namaskritya
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Devim Saraswati Vyasam
Tato Jaya Mudiraya
Tato Jaya Mudiraya.
Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, let us first offer our respectful obeisances unto Narayana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, unto Nara, Narayana Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta prayesa badreshu
Nashta Prayeshu Bhadreshu
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Bhagavati Tamasloke
Bhagavati Tamasloke
Bhaktir Bhaviti Naistiki
Bhaktir Bhavati Naistaki Bhagavata Nama
Puranam Brahma Samitam Shloka Charitam
Uttama Shloka
Charitam
Uttama Shloka Charitam
Sakara Bhagavan Rishi
Sakara Bhagavan Rishi
Nishveyasaya Lokasya
Nishveyasaya Lokasya
Dhanyam Swastaya Namaha.
Dharnam Sarasaya Namaha.
The Srimad Bhagavatam, known as the Grantaraj, the king of all Vedic literatures, is the literary incarnation of God. It is compiled by the incarnation of God, the Srila Vyasadeva. It is meant for the ultimate good of all people. It is all successful, all blissful, and all perfect. Sri Krishna Chaitanya,
Shri Krishna Chaitanya,
Prabhu Nityananda,
Prabhu Nityananda,
Sri Advaita Gadadhara,
Sri Advaita Gadadhara,
Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda,
Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya,
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 Om Sarabhyaya Namaha,
Om Surabhyaya Namaha,
Om Sarabhyaya Namaha,
Om Surabhyaya Namaha,
Om Sarabhyaya Namaha,
Om Surabhyaya Namaha.
Mukham karoti vātanam pāngum langayate girim yat kripatamaham bande Sri Gurum Ganataranam yat kripatamaham bande Sri Gurum Ganataranam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Welcome to our morning Bhagavatam class, continuing Canto number 1, chapter 10, text number 33.
No purpose have 33 have no purpose.
Okay, that means we will do 34. And 34 is not alone, 34 is with 35. Okay, actually we're at the end of the chapter, I believe. Yes.
Like only one verse is left.
Yes, yes. 36. So 34 and 35. Kuru Jangala
Panchalan,
Surasenan Sayamunan Brahmavartam Kurukshetram Matsyan Saraswatam Atha Maru Dhandvam Atrikramya Sobira Bhirayoho Param Anartan Bhargavo Pagach Chantavaho Manag Chantavaho Manag Vibhuhu. Let's see. Yes. So what we will do, since we are at the end of the chapter, we will do 36 and include the others. So let's turn the page to 36 for those who have pages. Tatra ha tatratyair harihi pratyudyatarhanaha sayam bheje disham paschad gavistho gam gatas tada tatra tatratyair hari pratyudyatarhanaha Sayam bheje disham paschad.
Sayam vede disham pashat.
Gavistho gammagathastada.
Balistagam gadastada.
Tatra tatratyayar.
Tatra tatra tatatray.
Hari pratyujatarhanaha.
Hariya pratyudatarana.
Sayam bheje disham paschad.
Sayam vede disham pashat.
Gavisto gammagathastada.
Yavisto gamgastastada.
Tatra tatratyayar.
Tatra tatra tatatray.
Hari pratyujatarhanaha.
Hari pratyudatarana.
Sayam bheje disham paschad.
Sayam vede disham pashat.
Gavisto gammagathastada.
Galistogam gadastada.
Tatra tatra tatrairve
Tatra tatra
Tatray.
Hari Hari Pratyudyadarvana
Hari pratyujatarhanaha.
Sayam Beje Disham Pasha
Sayam bheje disham paschad.
Gavishto Gam Gatastada
Gavisto gammagathastada.
Tatra tatra tatrayhar
Tatra tatra
Tatray.
Hari pradyutatarahana
Hari pratyujatarhanaha.
Sayam veje disham paschat
Sayam bheje disham paschad.
Gavisto gam gatastada
Gavisto gammagathastada.
Tatra tatra tatratre.
Tatra tatra tatratyaya.
Hariha pradyuhatarana.
Hari pratyujatarhanaha.
Sayam bheje disham paschat.
Sayam bheje disham paschad.
Gavisto gam gatastada.
Gavisto gammagathastada.
Tatra
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 tatratyaya.
Hari Pratyudatarhana
Hari pratyutada.
Sayam Beje Disham Pasha
Sayam bheje disham paschad.
Gavishto Gam Gatastada
Gavisto gammagathastada.
Tatra tatra ha tatra tye.
Tatra tatra tatratyaya.
Harihi pratyudyatarana.
Harim pratyudatarhanaha.
Sayam beje disham paschad.
Sayam bheje disham paschad.
Gavistu gam katastada.
Gavisto gammagathastada. So before, well, okay, we'll do word for word here. Tatra tatra.
Tatra tatra.
At different places.
At different places.
Aha.
Ah,
It so happened.
it so happened.
Tatratyay.
Tatratray.
By local inhabitants.
By local inhabitants.
Harihi.
Hari.
The personality of Godhead.
The personality of Godhead.
Pratyudata arhanaha.
Pratyudata adhana.
Being offered presentations
Being offered presentation
and worshipful regards.
and worshipful regards.
Sayam.
Sayam.
The evening.
The evening.
Bheje.
Bheje.
Having overtaken.
Having overtaken.
Disham.
Disham.
Direction.
Direction.
Paschat.
Paschat.
Western.
Western.
Gavistaha.
Gavistaha.
The sun in the sky.
The sun in the sky.
Gam.
Gam.
To the ocean.
To the ocean.
Gataha.
Kataha.
Having gone.
Having gone.
Tada.
Tada.
At that time.
At that time.
So we are coming back to text 33. Ata duragatam shauri.
Ata duragatam shauri
Kauravan virahaturan.
Kauravana virahaturan.
Sanivalcha dridham snigdhan.
Sandrivadya dridham siddhan.
Rayatsva nagarim priyai.
Raya nagarim priyai.
Translation with no purport. Out of profound affection of Lord Krishna, the Pandavas, who were of the Kuru dynasty accompanied him a considerable distance to see him off. They were overwhelmed with the thought of future separation. The Lord, however, persuaded them to return home, and he proceeded towards Dwarka with his dear companions. So this is Vedic culture. When someone visits you for some time, especially someone who is either a relative or someone who is very close, to whom you have affection or admiration, you just don't open the door and let them go out. You know, you walk out with them at least out of the house in the front, but usually in villages they will walk even to the precincts, to the border of the village, sometimes beyond. That was nicely, well, we've been reading in the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He's about to leave, and then about to leave Jagannath Puri, and then some devotees, anyway, whole Leela, devotees followed him to Kathak and things like that. Yeah. Similar also when Nityananda Prabhu, who was a young boy of 12 years of age, and that one Brahmana had come, and the Brahmana had been received very nicely by Hadai Pandit, I think, the father of Prabhu Nityananda. He had stayed a few days because that is the custom to receive sadhus, to receive brahmanas. Brahmanas are sadhus, and Nityananda Prabhu's father was very, very pious, very devoted, and naturally very cultured. So, as the sadhu was leaving, or the day before the sadhu was to leave, he asked him. He thanked him. Thank you very much for spending the last few days with us. The association, and he quoted different verses. Association of devotees is the perfection of one's life. And then, please forgive me for any offenses I have done. If there's anything I can do, ask me anything. I totally surrender to you. The residents of where was living? Ekachakra. Yeah. He was a life and soul of the all the residents, especially the young boys, because every day they would have different. They would perform different leelas. They would, like boys normally do, as we see in the 10th canto of the Bhagavatam, describing the daily activities of Lord Krishna. They would go out with the cows, with the calves. They would play all day, actually, so many games, and like this, they would enact different pastimes of Ramayana and Mahabharata. Like so, in this way, they became very close, and so that similar kind of scene was there. All the residents of Ekachakra followed this sadhu, and it is described that Hadai Pandit, uh, they went as far as they could, and then they stopped, and then they kept looking until the eyes could not see anymore. Then he fainted, and that's his body. Okay, similar kind of scene is being described here briefly. Okay, text 34 and 35. Guru Jangala Panchalan
Guru Jangala Panchalan
Sarasenan Sayamunan
Surasinam Sayamunam
Brahma Vartam Kurukshetram
Brahmavatam Kurukshetram
Matsyan Saraswatan Atha Marudhanvam Atikramya
Marudhanvam atikramya
Saubirabhirayo Paran
Saubirabhirayo Paran
Anartan Bhargo Pagats
Anartam Bhargavo Pagach
Chantrabaho Manag Vibuhu.
Chandradaho Manadvibho.
Translation Purport. O Shanaka, the Lord then proceeded toward Kurujangala, Panchala, Shurasena, the land on the bank of the river Jamuna, Brahmavarta, Kurukshetra, Vatsya, Saraswata, the province of the deserts, and the land of scanty water. We can actually trace where Krishna was. He was in Hastinapura. Then he traveled west, isn't it?
Yes.
Not east, west.
Yes.
So, which is the province of the desert? When we go from Delhi heading west, which deserted province? What province is deserted?
What is the name of desert?
What is the name of the province? Rajasthan.
Oh yes,
Thar.
Huh?
Thar desert.
desert Thar.
Yeah,
Thar desert in Rajasthan.
yeah. I went to Rajasthan. I know I saw with my eyes. We travel. We traveled. Where did we travel to? All the way to the border of Pakistan. Actually, we went to. Then we went to Patmera. Patmera. You know Patmera. Patmera is on the border of, I believe, Rajasthan and Gujarat, and it is the largest goshala in the world. They have any time between 100,000 to 3,000 cows. Yeah,
Small like.
in the desert. Actually, Rajasthan, which is very much desert-like, very dry, is the province in India that has the largest number of cows. And people are very, very devoted to cows. Difficult to finish the translation. After crossing these provinces, he gradually reached the Sovira and Abhira provinces. These are probably old names. Names change over
Yes,
the
yes.
centuries. Then west of these reached Dwarka at last, because you can't go beyond Dwarka unless, unless you have a boat. If you have a boat, you can go beyond. Purport. Okay, Prabhupada will give some. There we go. The provinces passed over by the Lord in those days were different. Yes. But the direction given is sufficient to indicate that he traveled through Delhi, Punjab, Rajasthan. Haribol. I had not read the purport, but yeah. Madhya Pradesh, Saurashtra. What is Saurashtra?
Saurashtra in Gujarat.
Gujarat, two or three cities मिलके बनते हैं. Two or cities merged, that is called Saurashtra.
Well, here it says Saurashtra and Gujarat.
Yes.
Yes.
So it's different.
Saurashtra.
No, in the Gujarat, Rajkot and some two cities become in one, so it's called Saurashtra.
Saurashtra.
The area will call Saurashtra.
Okay, yes. And at last reached his home province, at Dwarka. We do not gain any profit simply by researching the analogous provinces of those days up to now, but it appears that the desert of Rajasthan and the provinces of scanty water like Madhya Pradesh were present even 5,000 years ago. Yeah, right. In other words, Prabhupada is telling we don't have to spend so much time doing all kinds of research. Bhagavatam is telling, is describing how when Krishna returned from Delhi, I mean Hastinapura at that time, to Dwarka, he passed through some provinces that were desert-like. So at that time there were desert provinces, and now also. So that means that similar kind of, what do you call it, um, topography or something. Yeah. Of course, sometimes there are major changes. Hmm. Yes. The theory of soil experts that the desert developed in recent years is not supported by the statements of Bhagavatam. We may we may leave the matter for expert geologists to research because the changing universe has different phases of geological development. We are satisfied that the Lord has now reached. We are satisfied that the Lord has now reached His own province, Dwarkadham, from the Kuru provinces. Kurukshetra continues to exist since the Vedic age, and it is sheer foolishness when interpreters ignore or deny the existence of Kurukshetra. Because the whole Bhagavad Gita, as we know, was spoken where? On the on the battle of Kurukshetra. Um, um, but people interpret Kurukshetra in different ways. Some people who translate. Okay, the last verse of the paragraph, the last verse of the chapter, yeah. Tatra tatra hatatratyaya
Tatra tatra hi tatratyay
Hari prachudyatadhanaha
Hari pratyuttatarhana
Sayam bheje disham paschad
Sayam veje disham paschat
Gavistho gam gatastada.
Gavishogam tatastada.
Translation and purport. On his journey through these provinces, he was welcomed, worshipped, and given various presentations. In the evening, in all places, the Lord suspended his journey to perform evening rites. This was regularly observed after sunset. Purport. It is said here that the Lord observed the religious principles regularly while he was on the journey. There are certain philosophical speculations that even the Lord is under the obligations of fruitive action. But actually, this is not the case. He does not depend on the action of any good or bad work. And the following line is emphasized under italics. Since the Lord is absolute, everything done by him is good for everyone. But when he descends on earth, he acts for the protection of the devotees and for the annihilation of the impious non-devotees. Paritranaya sadhanam vinashaya sadhusritam. Yes. Although he has no obligatory duty, still he does everything so that others may follow. That is the way of factual teaching. One must act properly himself and teach the same to others. Otherwise, no one will accept one's blind teaching. That is called, in Bengali, something that Lord Chaitanya, we have only one Bengali here. What is this referring to? Mahaprabhu actually gave important instruction regarding achar and prachar, isn't it? Sometimes people are good in prachar, but not good in achar. Achar means,
Achar means utilization.
huh?
Not like Acharya.
Acharya.
Acharan.
Acharan.
Acharan. Means
Practicing.
discipline.
Yes, achar means, another word is sadachar.
Etiquettes.
Sadachar means behavior.
Behavior.
Yes,
Yeah.
behavior. Uh, mm. And therefore the word acharya. Acharya means someone who not only is teaching but also uh, exemplary in behavior. So acharya. So it means that actually both should be present. If we're going to engage in prasar, preaching, then we should have a strong achar. And if we have strong achar, our line, our Gaudiya Vaishnav line, emphasize, uh, emphasizes the importance of prasar. Our line is especially focusing on these two. They are, we could say, complementary to one another. Mm, that is called Gosti Anandi, as opposed to Bhajan Anandi. Our line is especially Gosti Anandi. Yeah. Not that, yeah, not to the neglect of Achal. Mm. So to continue in the purport, he is himself, mm, this is referring to Lord Krishna, he is himself the awarder of fruitive results. He is self-sufficient, and yet he acts according to the rulings of the revealed scripture in order to teach us the process. If he does not do so, the common man may go wrong. But in the advanced stage, when one can understand the transcendental nature of the Lord, one does not try to imitate him. This is not possible. The Lord in human society does what is the duty of everyone, but sometimes he does something extraordinary and not to be imitated by the living being. He acts, his acts of evening prayer, as stated herein, must be followed by the living being. But it is not possible to follow his mountain lifting or dancing with the gopis. Some things we can do, other things we cannot. One cannot imitate the sun, which can exhaust water even from a filthy place. The most powerful can do something which is all good, but our imitation of such acts will put us into endless difficulty. Therefore, in all actions, the experienced guide, the spiritual master, who is the manifested mercy of the Lord, should always be consulted, and the path of progress will be assured. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the first canto, 10th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam entitled Departure of Lord Krishna to Dwarka. And beginning tomorrow, we will enter Dwarka. The title is called Chapter 11, Lord Krishna's Entrance into Dwarka. So wherever the Lord goes and whatever he does, this is being many things. When we read Bhagavatam, when we listen to the Bhagavatam, we should try to pick out things that are significant, things that are not only significant for us, but also that can be helpful to others. But that requires some alertness or attention to what we are hearing or to what we are reading. Because in every, practically speaking, every statement, there is something to be learned. And that is why we are sitting in Bhagavatam class to try and learn and understand what can be helpful for our own personal spiritual advancement. So what are some of the lessons we can learn from the verses we have heard this morning, if we have been listening? Anything of interest? Anything of interest in the Bhagavad?
Behavior is important.
Huh?
Behavior.
Behavior.
Acharan.
Yes. So what is an example of behavior that we are reading this morning?
Attend Mangala.
No. Bhagavatam, what we're reading. There's no mention of Mangalarti in the Bhagavatam this morning. Behavior is important. What have we read? What is an obvious, very clear example of behavior? Why do you mention behavior?
Because you mentioned behavior.
So why did I mention behavior?
Because
No. In the context of what we are reading,
uh,
I mentioned behavior because something in the purport, something in the text, is mentioning about behavior.
When Lord Krishna traveling,
Yes.
he maintained all these ritual activities and behave.
When Krishna was traveling, he maintained. So specifically, give one example.
But you not give me an example.
I read it. That it's in the purport. Instead of me just telling, then you have to remember what is that example that Krishna is showing. Sunset. What happens at sunset? We go to sleep.
God, remember Lord, remember God, and some ritual.
Some ritual.
Follow.
Yes. So that is the example. That even though Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he followed rituals in the evening. So means in the evening we should perform some activity, just like every evening we perform Gurarati, isn't it? And now, because it is Kartik, we do something else. We chant Damodarastakam. And then we hear from Chaitanya Charitamrita. So this is, in the evening, we perform those activities. Why do we perform those activities? So that we can remember Krishna, isn't it? And then, what do we do every day in the morning? We attend Mangalarti. Most of us. Yeah, we are meant to attend Mangalarti so that we can again remember the activities of the Lord. Yeah. What does Krishna do every morning? Attend Mangalarti. He worships a cow. Yes. So when we will have our cow, we will have to introduce some kind of activity in relation to the cow. Just like in some temples in South India, what do? They bring the cow in the temple. And the Lord, the cow is looking that way, and the Lord is looking at the cow and looking at the cow's milk bag. Because Krishna likes milk and different types of milk products. Yeah. And the cow, Krishna is very dear. Cows are very dear to Krishna, so that whatever is making Krishna, giving Krishna happiness and pleasure, we perform those activities. so behavior, yes, that is connected with Prabhupada also mentioning here. We can only become effective in proper prasad or preaching if we are having good asad, sadasad. So sadasad is connected with sadhana. And sadhana means that we may not always like to do, still we will do. Isn't it?
Discipline.
Yes, if one is properly disciplined, one will accept to do things even though one may not like to do things. Yes. So Prabhupada mentions here how the Lord in human society does what is the duty of everyone. In other words, even though one is a great personality, and no one is a greater personality than Krishna, still he follows regular activities to show as example, isn't it? So we should follow in the footsteps of Krishna by performing. But here Prabhupada also mentions that the Lord, he performs activities that we cannot do. So we should not imitate. Yeah. What are some activities we cannot do?
Lifting the mountain.
Lifting Govardhan Hill.
Yes. Lifting the Govardhan and dancing with gopis.
And dancing with the gopis. These are the examples Prabhupada is mentioning here. So Prabhupada is, in the beginning of this last purport, is telling that the Lord performs these activities not, and those activities are not in the category of fruit of action, because in the Bhagavad Gita it is explained how the Lord remains forever unaffected by the modes of material nature. So all of his activities are divyam, transcendental. And what is important for us to try and understand is that when we take shelter of Krishna's Daivi Prakriti, then our activities also become
Out of the three modes of nature.
yes, that is called karmaless. Karmaless.
Karmaless.
Without karma. And that means that actually the jiva, living entities in the material world, by learning this process, we can also, similar to Krishna, be in the material world, but not be of the material world. We can be in the material world, but not be
Of material.
yes, not be under the influence of the modes of material nature. And that is only possible through the process of bhakti, which is Krishna's internal energy. So, any other point of interest that caught your attention? Looks like something caught their attention.
How much time he spent to traveling?
How much time Krishna spent in traveling?
From Hastinapura to Dwarka.
Hastinapura to Dwarka. Well, if you can calculate how many kilometers are from Mayapur to Jagannath Puri, we know from the Bhagavatam, not Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, it mentions how every year the devotees from Mayapur, from the area of Navadvip, Mayapur, would travel to Jagannath Puri, and it would take how long?
1 month.
1 month, approximately. So, if you can know how many kilometers are from Hastinapur, from Delhi to Dwarka, then you can calculate
Yes.
more or less how many days. So I think, from Delhi to Dwarka is further away than from Mayapur to. So
Yes,
may, yeah, huh? Yeah, from Delhi to Dwarka is further away than from Mayapur to Jagannath Puri.
Yes, yes.
Maybe double.
Yes, twice. Yes. Yes, twice.
Yeah.
Means
So
two.
what is twice of 1 month?
2 months.
2 months.
But I think the rich people goes to Mayapur to Jagannath Puri by walking, and the Krishna is go from horse or
By chariot.
so way fast.
Ah, that is the difference. Yes, that's true. Yes, from Mayapur to Jagannath Puri, when the description is there in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it doesn't mention about chariots.
Yes.
They were walking. Yeah.
Yes.
But there were many. Yeah, we don't know actually. There are many. It mentions different of the Lord's associates who are also traveling with him. But a chariot can either go slowly or it can go more quickly. When Krishna has to go to some place very urgently, if there's some business to attend to, then he will go very quickly. But now he was not
Urgency.
rushing to Dwarka.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe 20 days or
That's a speculation. Somebody may say 30 days.
Yes.
In any event, what was one remarkable feature that is mentioned here? Every time, every place that Lord Krishna traveled, what besides stopping and resting for the night, what is mentioned also that was happening every day? That is significant.
Yes.
Every place where the Lord went, he was received in a royal manner, because everyone knew that he is Krishna.
Yes.
It's like when Lord Chaitanya was traveling, he would be attracting large numbers of people, isn't it? So in a similar way, it's like Lord Chaitanya, who was well known, Krishna 5,000 years ago was also um, well known, and therefore means he was very nicely received wherever he went. Yes, that is, kings, important people, even today. If somebody, just like a few days ago, as you may know, the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, went to Russia. And what happened in Russia? That's important for us. So many things happen in Russia. But what happened in Russia, Narendra Modi was received by devotees who were chanting. They were chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And Narendra Modi must have been surprised, pleasantly surprised, as we say. And he was with folded hands, the devotees were chanting the regular, Namam Vishnupadaya, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, and then Hare Krishna. And then he was listening, so he could understand, oh, Hare Krishna is here in Russia. There were three things, in that report it mentions, there were three things that were banned in Russia many years ago. Did you read that? Yeah. What was it? One of them, during the communist regime, three things were banned because the government felt that this was like too much changing, it would change the society too much. One of them was pop music. Pop music, modern music, pop music
Yes.
was banned in Russia
Oh,
many years ago. Maybe still is, I don't know. And then what else was banned? Oh, probably, drugs or something. And then the third thing that was banned was Hare Krishna.
oh,
Then.
Yeah, devotees were put in prison. You could not have a book of India. You could not have a Bhagavad Gita. Devotees who were in the early days, they had to bring in books like in hiding. Yeah, and if anyone was caught reading or assembling, meeting together, the agents at that time they would arrest all the people and put them in jail. Some devotees died actually. Even now today in certain countries you can't chant Hare Krishna in public. You can't distribute books, isn't it? So, but somehow, by Krishna's mercy, the Hare Krishna devotees have survived, and now in Russia, of course, there are thousands, hundreds of temples, thousands of devotees.
So now the ban is not.
No, now the situation has changed. This was during the communist regime, and now we have so many temples, but still there are restrictions. So, okay, so just a quick review of our chapter. How this chapter is beginning, the departure of Lord Krishna for Dwarka. What was important, especially in this chapter?
receiving guest.
Receiving guests.
Yes.
No, before receiving guests.
Receiving guest.
What happened before Krishna left Hastinapura? What was a whole Leela? After the battle of Kurukshetra, Krishna's business was finished. So he wanted to immediately go back. Then it was not possible. Why?
Because Yudhishthir Maharaj said, stay and for his beloved sister
Yes.
Subhadra Maharaj.
You stay so that you can
Please.
give, what is it? Console. You can give, appease Subhadra. Why?
Because she lost his
She
lost her son.
She lost her son, Abhimanyu. Yes. She was grief stricken.
Yes.
Actually, and what other reason did Krishna stay?
Krishna protect Uttara, Parikshit Maharaj.
Kunti Maharani prayer.
That's another chapter. Going back too much.
Yes.
So many of the ladies in Hastinapur had lost
Yes,
because all practically everyone, millions of people died. So many of those, all who were fighting with the Pandavas, they were having relatives in Hastinapur. So to give comfort to the residents of Hastinapur, in particular the ladies who lost either their husband or their son in the battle of Kurukshetra. Then what happened? The ladies, where were the ladies when Krishna was about to leave?
On the
Roof of.
On the roof. What were they doing there? Just gossiping, or?
No, Prabhupada mentioned the talk is better than the hints of the Vedas.
Yes, they're speaking. They were not at all gossiping, but they were speaking, and they're speaking. Why it was described as more sweeter than the hymns of the Vedas. Why it was sweeter than the hymns of the Vedas? Because they were very spontaneously, very naturally glorifying the Lord in their own simple manner, simple words.
unalloyed.
Unalloyed.
Yes.
The word unalloyed, yeah. In pure devotion, they were remembering, and they went on to glorify the Lord for a long time. Actually, a good portion of the 10th chapter is having the prayers of the ladies in Hastinapur. Yes. Okay. Any questions? Yes? Oh, no. Yes, okay. So, yeah, it's that time. Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki.
Jai.
Jai Sri Prabhupada ki.
Jai.
Gaura Piranandi.
Hari Hari Bol.
His Holiness Bhakti Raghava Swami Maharaj.
Jai.